I'd like to introduce Liz Thackray, Chair of the Third Age Trust, and Clive Grace, Chair of Tattle, the trading company, in conversation about the digital strategy.
Hello, Clive. It feels as though you and I have been talking about digital for longer than I can remember now. I think one of the first conversations I had when I took on the chair was we needed to be setting up a digital strategy working group, because really, in many ways, digital encompasses every way in which we use technology in our everyday lives, whether it's connected directly with our involvement with the u3a or just in the way we live.
And I think the point about having a strategy is a bit like any plan. You know, if you've got a plan, you don't always get to where you want to get to. But if you don't have a plan at all, your chances of getting to the right place reduce considerably. So for an organization like the Trust, which is quite small, but actually quite complex in many of the things it does, if you don't think about how to use digital overall, then you're at risk of going off in one direction for your finance, another direction for how you support a u3a advice line, another direction perhaps for what you do on learning. And some of the wonderful opportunities that digital provides is where you can end up with, for example, a single source of data, or you can get synergies. So you need a strategy for that reason. But the heart of the u3a movement, as we both know, absolutely centrally, is that u3as are about people being together face to face in meetings, in workshops, in discussions, and getting all the pleasure of learning, but from that human context. And there's certainly no suggestion that a digital strategy for the Trust and for the u3a movement ought to do that. That remains paramount, and it always will, I think.
But given that digital is so much part of all of our lives, looking at what digital means for us, I know that in the working group that you've been chairing, you've been looking at various work streams. I wonder if it might be useful just to say what the different aspects of digital are that you've been looking at.
Well, I think one way to think about those different work streams is to think, first of all, about the Third Age Trust as an organization, which needs to be as efficient and effective as possible, and to run in a value for money basis, so that membership fees stay as low as they possibly can, and that members get the best services they can. So that's one kind of stream of work. A second is, what do u3as need? Well, many u3as, as you know, make use of the Beacon system. About half of u3as use that in one way or another, and a number of other u3as also use similar kinds of systems. Well, those systems are developing, changing, and potentially the newer versions add more benefits. So it's important to look at that aspect. And then, of course, there's the individual members and their experience. So, for example, although the u3a, the core to the u3a is about face-to-face, there are people sometimes who can't make it to meetings, can't be present for one reason or another. So their participation can be enhanced enormously through digital means. And also there are some benefits, individual benefits, which the Trust can help members to access through digital that we can't do in other ways. So thinking of it in those terms of those three work streams is one way of sort of thinking about how digital can help really across the board.
Now, I guess one of the concerns that our members are going to have is that digital sounds expensive. And I think perhaps one of the things we need to be talking about is why we're needing to look at this when it's inevitably going to lead to some changes in the way that we work. And perhaps one of the problems that we've got at the moment is that though we've got quite a lot of technology, though we're using quite a number of computer systems, those computer systems don't always, as it were, speak to each other. So it's about becoming more efficient at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and clearly there have been some enormous gains in all walks of life, but including in what the trust does and what individual local u3as do to make themselves more efficient and to make the costs of administration especially cheaper. And the concept you refer to, which obviously is a bit of a techie concept, but interoperability, it's basically different systems operating together, working together harmoniously. That, as you say, is one of the great ways in which greater efficiency, greater effectiveness can be achieved through the use of digital technologies. So I guess for you as chair as well, one of the great things about having a digital strategy is that you've set out the stall of the trust board with the objectives for the trust and for the movement as a whole. And I know that you can see that digital can sort of come in behind each of those objectives and help to make them real and help to achieve them sooner than they might otherwise be achieved.
Obviously, in this short video, we've been introducing the whole idea of the fact that we've got this digital strategy review going on and that we're going to be working with it. We obviously are not going to talk about everything that might happen over the coming months or even years, but I think hopefully we've said enough to give a flavour of the fact that there's thinking going on. We're trying to do things in a rational and sensible way. We're trying to do things in a way that will improve things for all of us.
Absolutely, and I guess the other thing, perhaps just to leave people with as a final thought, is that the work we've done up to now hasn't been done in isolation. It has been done in consultation with many local u3as, and indeed now that we've got a draft just about emerging, a draft digital strategy, there's a very clear intention to make sure we consult local u3as on that digital strategy. So, as again in complete keeping with the ethos of the movement, they have a chance to not just be consulted, but also to shape the final product. And I know that it's going to be a better document and a better strategy from having that exposure to those influences.
Yes, we've got an interesting road ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Clive.
Thank you.